What if I told you that the wealthiest, most powerful people in history weren't chasing money at all? They were chasing something far more valuable, and money simply followed. The ancient Stoics discovered a psychological principle so counterintuitive that it seems almost magical, yet so practical that Roman emperors, modern billionaires, and master manipulators have used it to accumulate fortunes that last centuries. Here's the paradox that will change how you think about wealth forever. The moment you stop needing money, money starts needing you. But this isn't some New Age manifestation nonsense. This is cold, calculated psychology, backed by 2,000 years of results. The Stoics called it preferred indifference. But what they really discovered was the ultimate power move in the game of wealth. Let me paint you a picture. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the known world, wrote in his private journal that he could lose everything tomorrow and still be complete. Meanwhile, across the empire, desperate merchants were clawing at each other for scraps. Guess who accumulated more wealth? The emperor who didn't need it, or the merchants who were dying for it? The answer reveals everything about how money actually works. You see, wealth isn't attracted to desperation, it's attracted to detachment. And the Stoics understood this at a level that would make modern psychologists weep with envy. They realized that the person who needs nothing holds all the cards, while the person who needs everything holds nothing but anxiety. Think about it this way. When you walk into a negotiation desperate for the deal, what happens? You telegraph weakness. Your body language screams, "Please say yes." You accept terms you shouldn't accept. You give away power before you even sit down. But when you walk in genuinely prepared to walk away, when you've cultivated what the Stoics called indifference to externals, suddenly you become magnetic. People lean forward, they make better offers, they chase you. This is where most people get it backwards. They think confidence comes from having money, but the Stoics proved that money comes from having confidence. Real confidence. Not the fake-it-till-you-make-it variety, but the deep, unshakable kind that comes from knowing you'll be perfectly fine either way. Seneca, one of Rome's richest men, practiced voluntary poverty regularly. He would spend days eating only bread and water, sleeping on the floor, wearing his worst clothes. His friends thought he was insane. But Seneca was conducting psychological warfare on his own mind. He was proving to himself over and over that comfort was nice but not necessary, that wealth was preferable but not required, and this practice made him absolutely fearless in business. When you know you can survive with nothing, you can risk everything. When you're attached to comfort, you can barely risk anything. This is the secret that separates the wealth builders from the wealth wishers. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Stoics discovered that this detachment actually creates a psychological phenomenon that modern science calls outcome independence. When you're not emotionally invested in a specific result, you make better decisions. You see opportunities others miss because you're not blinded by need. You take calculated risks because fear isn't clouding your judgment. You walk away from bad deals because your ego isn't involved. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." He wasn't promoting poverty, he was promoting power. The power that comes from needing nothing from anyone. Because when you need nothing, people will offer you everything. Look at how this plays out in the modern world. Warren Buffett lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,000. Jeff Bezos drove a Honda Accord when he was worth billions. These aren't publicity stunts. They're psychological strategies. They're maintaining their detachment even as their wealth grows, ensuring that money remains their tool, not their master. The dark psychology here is fascinating. When someone realizes you don't need their approval, their money, or their validation, they become obsessed with getting yours. It's human nature. We want what we can't have, and we dismiss what chases us. The Stoics weaponized this tendency, but implementing this requires a complete mindset revolution. Most people wake up thinking about what they lack. The Stoic wakes up thinking about what they already have. Most people make decisions from scarcity. The Stoic makes decisions from abundance, not because they're pretending to have more than they do, but because they've trained themselves to need less than they have. This is practical meditation in action. Every morning, Aurelius would remind himself that he could lose his empire, his family, his life itself, and still maintain his inner fortress. This wasn't morbid thinking. This was freedom training. Because the person who has mentally rehearsed loss has already conquered fear. Here's your first exercise. For the next 7 days, practice voluntary discomfort. Sleep on the floor one night. Eat only rice and beans for a day. Walk instead of driving when possible. Wear your least expensive clothes to an important meeting. You're not punishing yourself. You're proving to yourself that comfort is optional, which makes confidence inevitable. The second exercise is even more powerful. Before any negotiation, any request for money, any business interaction, spend 5 minutes genuinely accepting the worst-case scenario. Not just intellectually, but emotionally. Feel what it would be like if they said no, if the deal fell through, if you lost everything. Sit with that feeling until you're genuinely okay with it. Then go into the situation. Watch what happens. Your voice will be steadier. Your posture will be straighter. You'll ask for what you're worth instead of what you think you can get. You'll walk away from bad deals instead of taking them out of desperation. This is outcome independence in action, and it's magnetic. The ancient Stoics understood something that modern psychology is just beginning to grasp. Attachment is the enemy of achievement. When you're attached to a specific outcome, you become rigid, desperate, predictable. When you're detached from outcomes but committed to process, you become fluid, confident, unpredictable, and therefore powerful. But here's the warning that comes with this knowledge. True detachment isn't emotional numbness or giving up on goals. It's caring deeply about what you can control while remaining indifferent to what you can't. It's wanting success while being prepared for failure. It's the difference between a general who fights to win and a general who fights not to lose. The Stoics called this the discipline of desire. Training yourself to want what happens rather than demanding that what you want happens. This isn't passive acceptance, it's active adaptation. When circumstances change, you change with them. When opportunities appear, you're ready because you're not locked into a specific script. Money flows to those who don't desperately need it, for the same reason water flows downhill. It's following natural psychological laws. Desperation repels, confidence attracts, neediness pushes away, abundance mentality pulls toward. So here's your final challenge. Stop chasing wealth and start building the character that wealth chases. Stop needing success and start becoming the type of person success seeks out. The Stoics proved that when you master yourself, you don't need to master anything else. Everything else naturally aligns with the master. The universe isn't withholding your wealth because you haven't thought positively enough. It's waiting for you to become the kind of person who doesn't need external validation to feel complete. Because that person, that unshakable, outcome-independent person, is exactly who money has been looking for all along. Master your needs and you'll master your life. Master your life, and wealth becomes not something you chase, but something that chases you.